Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel, and again, a different video. I did say I will be mixing up the content as we go into 2024. Don't worry, the reactions are going nowhere. They will still be returning, but every now and again, I'm going to break it up with a different kind of video. And what I've been doing lately is kind of setting up notifications and stuff, so I do get news alerts. I can keep on top of like breaking stories and just different things overall, so that I can mix up the content and bring different kinds of videos to you people. It's kind of branching out, I suppose, changing things up a little bit, and being able to offer you guys something different, and my opinion and perspective on things. So this was an article that popped up in my feed, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the whole recent sleep token news. So obviously, as you're well aware, there was the whole leak thing that happened. Social media got deleted, social media got wiped. Everything seems to be all good now in Camp Sleep Token. They're posting again. They've announced American tour dates, blah, 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 blah. Three's account's back. He's posting again. All seems to be good and resolved. The fan base are happy again. They're going nowhere. But yeah, this article popped up on Metal Hammer for me, and it is about Noah Sebastian. Now, if you guys don't know who that is, he is the lead singer of the band Bad Omens. They're currently on tour across the UK with Bring Me the Horizon, a very, very good band. And another band that, funny enough, blew up through the popularity of TikTok. A lot of the female people, shall we say, going crazy over Noah and making the usual kind of content, as you would imagine. Again, very similar to the Sleep Token kind of content. So the article and the interview in particular that Noah has done with Metal Hammer does kind of tie in really nicely, and can kind of make a piece of content regarding what is kind of what's happened with the whole Sleep Token thing. So there's a quote. The article opens with a quote from Noah, and it just says, "I got tired of seeing my own face or seeing a stranger's opinion of me every day. I don't think that's healthy. Bad Omens Noah Sebastian recently deleted all of his social media, and his new interview with Metal Hammer might explain why." So, as you can tell, his personal social media he's on about. He's removed all of his personal social media. Obviously, all the band stuff is still up. Nowadays, in the world of technology and the internet, bands need social media. It is pretty much essential to their existence. It's marketing, it's, letting people know about news, updates for fans, all the rest of it, labels and things like that. So yeah, it comes from Metal Hammer, and basically what Noah is saying, and I will quote again from this article, it just says, "I was trying to use my socials and I constantly had to mute them. I got really tired of seeing my own face, seeing a stranger's opinion of me every day. I don't think that's healthy. I've seen these accounts that collect baby pictures of me, which is just insane, that they found on a distant relative's Facebook and then make entire shrines out of them. It's very one-sided. If there was a female artist that I admired and I had a collection of pictures of her as an underage child, people would probably fucking try and put me in jail. It'd be weird. It'd be extremely inappropriate. It's really funny how selective people are with their ethics." And then it just says, Sebastian goes on to explain why he struggles with the notion of being a rock star and why the narratives many Bad Omens fans have created around him aren't exactly painting an accurate picture of who he is. So this is kind of fucked up. Like, obviously the guy, and this is probably why I'm going to title this video of like bands aren't your friends or something along them lines, because I've been and done some research, and Sleep Token are probably the main band affected by this. But it's happening to more than you would probably expect or imagine. It's all well and good being a fan. Now, a fan of a band obviously listens to the band, probably purchases tickets and goes and sees said band, whoever it may be, live, buys merch, shares statuses, likes statuses and things like that, is a member of a potential fan club or something, could be on a band's Patreon or whatever. This is all part of being a fan. It's supporting the band. Now, what these people don't seem to realise is once you've seen insert band name here on stage or whatever, these are real people. These people do have a real life behind their, probably in some respects, not all, but in some respects, their stage persona. So you see one thing, and they go back to their real life, sleep in their own real life house in their own real life bed. And it seems to be, this is pretty much, I mean, it probably did happen years ago, but in a totally different context. I think the internet has a lot to blame for this, and technology and modern kind of day has a lot to blame for this. You know, bands in the 80s and stuff, you could go and see them probably live still. You could still purchase some merch. But it was a lot harder to follow said band, if you like, because the technology just wasn't around back then. Nowadays, everyone is online, everyone is, well, potentially trackable. You know, people who've got phones in their pockets, for all intents and purposes, that is a mobile tracker. Like, that can pinpoint your location accurate to within a couple of feet. It contains personal information. It's got all of your social media accounts on it. In some respect, it could have your debit cards and stuff on it. You know, technology is a wonderful thing, and when used right, is very, very good. I mean, I'd be lost without it. I work in technology as well, so without it, I kind of wouldn't have a job. And I use the internet daily. Of course, we're on the internet right now, discussing this thing. But it seems to be that the internet is to blame and is having a negative effect on music and probably other aspects of different areas of different things. You know, this definitely is not just related to the music scene. This can happen most definitely in sports with likes of footballers and stuff. It can probably happen in modelling. You know, these people that model in front of cameras, as soon as they've done their shoot and stuff, I would imagine, and most definitely would say, that they would then go about their normal day. They would return to their normal homes and live their lives. And this is definitely in the past 10 years kind of thing of fans becoming more than fans. And it is getting quite scary. If you imagine, you know, Noah here is basically saying he's found people sharing baby pictures that they found on relatives' Facebook pages. It's a really weird kind of invasion of privacy, if you like. You know, it doesn't stop anymore. Bands and things, and you think about fame in general, what they have to deal with. You know, you're really big and famous artists, footballers, models, fighters, boxers, whoever it may be. Their lives are severely restricted. They can't go. Like, for me now, if I think, I fancy a cup of coffee, I've got no milk, just as an example, I can walk to that corner shop and nobody is going to jump out of a van with a camera and go, Chris is going for milk. These people can't do that. They don't have a normal life, but they do still have an element of a life outside of music, outside of whatever their profession may be. Now, I think I would take offence and would have an issue if I was to be in Noah's position and found photos of me as a baby online in like a kind of shrine environment. It's no longer frowned upon, this kind of thing. It's just downright weird. And it's the fans' fault. Like, this isn't just appearing somewhere. This isn't just being made by someone. This is fans of the band. And now, and I'm really happy that Noah is actually speaking out about this, because probably more people should. This is starting to have a negative effect and is starting to piss off these people that are in bands. Now, some people might say, oh, well, he's famous, so that comes with the territory. Not necessarily. Just because the guy is famous, he's in a very successful band, he's a performing artist, there's still a limit and a line that comes with that amount of fame, and a limit and a line of what you should cross as a fan. So he goes on to say that he read this thing once about Robert Pattinson, famous actor. He said he was being harassed by a fan and then invited them to dinner, and then he just bored the hell out of them, talking their ears off about the most boring, uninteresting stuff until they left. He out-punished the fan. I thought this was really amusing. If I ever had that experience where a fan wouldn't leave me alone and we went to dinner, once they got to know me, they'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to move on back to K-pop, back to Taylor. It says, I got really tired of seeing my own face, which is obviously the quote. I don't think it's healthy. He's obviously on the cover of it there. And it's going too far. And this eventually is going to get to the point where the artist, whoever it may be, just goes, fuck this, you know, can't be bothered anymore. And ultimately, the people that suffer are the fans. But when you go back and you look at it from the very beginning and you look at it from a kind of a 360 point of view, it's the fans' fault. So I'm not saying every fan, because it's definitely not every fan, but a small group of fans are ruining the experience for the rest of the fans that when this blows up and hits them in the face, every fan is affected. Now, the reason I say about the whole sleep token thing, this is probably the reason, I mean, most definitely one of the reasons, that they want to remain anonymous. Because obviously, if no one knows what they look like, they still have an element of privacy. They still have an element of a life. They still have the ability. I imagine now, if you are Vessel, for instance, Vessel can probably still go to the shop. Vessel can probably still go out of a weekend if he's not touring or whatever and enjoy his life, because not a lot of people know what he looks like. Only a select few very, very trusted individuals, I imagine, knows what he looks like. Yes, people are trying to reveal that. They're starting to reveal that, which is just like I've said about this whole video, downright disrespectful. Now that Noah's speaking out about this, I can see this becoming a bit of a snowball effect, and more people are going to start speaking out about the fans. And it's such a shame, because ultimately, and from bands that I've spoken to and other members and entertainers and all the rest of it, ultimately their goal is to get to venues of performing in front of as many fans as possible, because they enjoy what they do. Like, the whole point of being a musician is to put out music that resonates with people, that people want to enjoy, that want to listen to it, that can completely, become obsessed to a point with. It's all well and good being an absolute mega fan of the band, and that could be you buy every single album, every version of every album, you buy every single piece of merchandise, you go to as many gigs as possible. You are like a devout ultimate supporter of the band. But there is always a line, and it just starts to be lately that there's this toxicity spreading into fans, from fans, it's starting to turn the scene, and it's not a nice thing. I mean, leaking people's documents is just fucking downright disgusting in general. But like Noah's sharing a different perspective now. He's found baby photos of himself on shrines, and the guy is right. In today's day and age, an accusation can go a long way. It can ruin someone's complete life in seconds. What he says there nails it. If he was found with a collection of a female artist baby photos, that could damage him a lot. Why have you got them? Like, why are you in possession of them? I'm going to say a name right now. Ian Watkins. He had the collection of photos from babies. We all know why he's in prison. You definitely do not want to be tarnished with that brush. No, that's bad news. But and I don't want to talk about this for hours and ramble on about things and stuff. It's just kind of my outside, perspective and insight on this. Fans need to have a hard look at themselves. They really do. Bands are not your friends. They are probably never going to be. Never say never kind of deal. Now, take it from my perspective. I work with bands. I've met plenty of bands. I have friends, existing friends already, that are in bands. There's a difference with that one. But in terms of, I don't know, say for instance, I met Chris Motionless tomorrow. He's not a friend. He is an artist in the scene of which I'm a part of. 100% the first rule I live by, I would be a fan of Chris Motionless and his band, Motionless in White. I might be lucky enough to get to a point of being an associate, if that's the right word, but most definitely not a friend. You don't just meet someone once and instantly become friends with them in this capacity. And fans are starting to think that because these bands are meeting fans and are, taking the time to get pictures and to sign something for them, there's a big difference between a friend and someone you've literally listened to, know nothing about outside music, potentially. You know, they do that as a thank you for you appreciating their art. You know, a band getting a photo or signing an album, they don't do that because you're a friend. That is kind of a way of thanking you for supporting their art, for listening to their music, for buying a ticket to a show, for allowing them to do what they want to do. They are two very, very different things. And this is where some people, because again, the psychos up here, don't seem to understand that just because someone famous says hi to you, you are not friends. You are definitely not friends. And to go home and then try and add this person in real life, you know, obviously we know he's real, we've seen him on stage, but to go home and track this person down, or people down, or band down, you know, whatever you want to call it, and add them as it says, a friend, is wrong. It is definitely wrong. This is why bands have social medias, they have fan clubs, they have places and chances to meet them as a fan and get pictures and stuff. That is not you going round to a friend's house. In effect, that is a business transaction. By you paying that money to them, you are allowing yourself to gain a service. You are not their friend. You go in, it might be the coolest experience in the world, they might be the nicest people, they are. You know, I've met plenty of bands, they're just normal people, but they are not your friend. They probably never will be, and some people don't seem to understand this, and it's creating some toxic, negative kind of environment in which people think that because someone has said hello to you, because you've got this photo with them, because they might have potentially signed a piece of merch or something, that they owe you more than that, and they don't. The same way as when you go to a show, it is a business transaction. You pay for your ticket, you get to see the band. The band finish, end of transaction. That's why there's money involved. You pay, you get this. You don't pay your ticket price and get invited down for tea. It doesn't happen. It never will. And this is, unfortunately, starting to happen more and more. And again, the internet is massively to blame. I imagine that this is a kind of a last 10 years problem. And it is unfortunately, and I hate to say it, probably only going to get worse before someone really snaps and does something stupid, or there just becomes this normality again, which again, it's the internet, it's fans, you're never going to get through to some of these psychos. The line is here. You have all of these transactions here, you have gigs, merch, albums, whatever, you'd never go past here. It's pretty much the same with me in a different but kind of the same way. Like, don't get me wrong, I literally adore meeting you guys. I love having a drink with you people. I love getting photos and stuff, but I am never in a million years gonna go, thanks very much for watching, do you want to come back to mine and watch some films and stuff, because we don't know each other like that. Put it yourself in that position. Put yourself in the position of insert famous person here. If you were out in the street and were a little bit known or whatever, or even if you weren't and some random person come up, because that is effectively what it is. It is a stranger approaching you asking for a selfie, you going, okay, this is strange, but okay, let's take the picture. And then them inviting you back to their house and you just go, no, that sounds like a good idea, let's do it. Break it down into the literal categories and you will start to see how weird it sounds. And you'll start to understand that just it shouldn't happen and it won't happen. And it needs to stop happening from people thinking that bands owe them more than the transactional barrier of here. There's nothing wrong with supporting them. Of course there's nothing wrong with going to see them live. Of course there's nothing wrong with you buying merch or donating to a fan club or something, because that allows them to continue to do what they love. But going past that, anything past that transactional value and that business transaction, because that is what it is, people. You pay money, you receive an item. You pay money, you receive an experience. You do not get more than that. You probably never will. These people, and it sounds horrible, and I'm just being brutally honest here, these people owe you nothing past that business transaction. Now, some bands don't do photos. Some bands won't sign anything. Some bands won't do meet and greet ticket events or VIP things because they technically owe you nothing apart from that transactional value. Yeah, by all means, come and see us live, but that's where it stops. Thank you very much. They don't have to be horrible about it. They don't have to come out and be like, fuck you, because we are their fans. They are the artist. We give them money, they give us music. We give them money, they give us merch. It is a transactional value, whatever way you look at it. And some people lately are thinking that the transactional value gives them personal gain and personal things, and they are naturally owed this relationship and this friendship with the band. And I'm sorry to say it, people, they owe you fuck all. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I understand that. That goes in, and I'm a normal person. I like going to see bands live. I have the experience. I enjoy it. I talk about it with my friends, and that's it. I would never in a million years go, oh, you've gone off stage now, and I was planning to invite you back round to mine for some beers and stuff. Think of it literal. If a stranger pulled up in his car and said, I've got a couple of puppies in the back, you wouldn't get in. It's the same thing. They are, in reality, a stranger to you. You're a stranger to them. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. They come off the stage. They go home. It's like going to work. That is the same thing. That is their job. That's what they do. You wouldn't go to work and invite your boss home. Like, it just doesn't happen. You go to work, you earn your money, you leave and get the fuck out of there and come home to your real life. And people they're just not understanding this. They're not seeing it for what it is. If you break this down into literal terms, it becomes really disturbing. It's really worrying, and it's really freaky that people and fans think that the band or the famous person, whoever that may be, owe them something past that transactional value. And in reality, I'm putting it bluntly as possible, they owe you fuck all apart from that transaction. It may sound horrible. It may sound really bad. I know some bands that are fucking phenomenal with their fans. They are everything to them. But there's still a line. There is still that transactional line of you've paid your money, you've got what you paid for, now fuck off. That is literally what it breaks down to. Probably said nicer, but just breaking it down and putting it into words that you understand. For the people out there that are obviously thinking that this is okay, that is what it is. In black and white. There's no other way to put it. Bands are not your friends. They just aren't, and they never will be. So, sound off in the comments. It may sound harsher than what I mean it to sound like, but I am very honest and brutal with the way I put things. I put things in literal terms to understand them, and people need to start doing the same. And sharing people's baby photos around online and leaking people's personal information is completely out of order. They owe you fuck all after that business transaction. So, there we go. Just a different one, a different little opinion, different little spin on things. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. Obviously, agree to disagree. Put a post in. We'll have a debate about it. But ultimately, and to finish it off, I will say it one more time. Bands aren't your friends. So yeah, take care. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one. There will be, like I've said, more videos like this coming of me just rambling, turning the camera on, putting the mic in front of me and just speaking, and this is what comes out. Like I say, I'm trying to branch out, different kinds of content, keep the channel going, break up the reactions and stuff, but still provide you with a video or two, maybe if there's no releases or something. But yeah, take care, see you all on the next one, and yeah, bye for now.